Hello, everyone. Welcome to my show, the Engelic Show. I'm your beautiful host, Angelique. This is my seventh episode of my show and YouTube channel. I am drilled and got the opportunity to be sitting and chatting with my special guest and friend, Tyrone, aka Legendary Houston. I hope I say your last name right.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. He
Houston.
is a disability advocate, self-published author of two poetry books, but now
Four.
four. Now four.
Oh, oh yeah, four.
And he's a poet, spoken word artist. You will be hearing one of freestyle poet, his freestyle poet, a little bit later after I interview him, because I will be requesting him to do a freestyle poem for us.
Hot seat.
Hello, legendary.
Hello, hello.
The one and only. You know how to have you.
Hello, hello. Oh my God, it is an honor to be here.
All right. Tell me about yourself.
Well, folks, she pretty much just spelled it out in a nutshell. I am an advocate for people with disabilities. I have CP, which is the initial for cerebral palsy. I've been diagnosed with it since I was born, and over the years, I've become an active spoken word artist in the community of Buffalo, and I've become a self-published author of 4 books of poetry. I've also been nominated for 2 local awards in regards to my service in the arts community for that.
What?
And
Oh
oh
my
yeah,
God.
the resume is stacked. And I am super excited because I recently just required my own apartment, living on my own, and I'm excited. So, hey, moving up in the
Hey,
world. Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, oh yeah, man. That the independence and the freedom. I don't have anyone telling me what to do. I don't have anyone telling me what I'm gonna do or what I need to do. I do what I want to do. And I when Angelique asked me to, she's like, hey, I want you to be on my show. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta comb my hair. I don't have hair, but it was like, I gotta make sure I look right. You can't be going on your friend's show looking a ragamuffin. You can do that when ain't nobody around. You can't do that on camera. So yeah, I mean, I don't dress fancy. I dress like a ragamuffin. I just didn't want to do that on your show. So
That's all right.
I just, she was like, "You want me to be on the show?" And I'm like, "Oh God!" And so yeah, but yeah, that's what I've been up to. And recently I became a writer for the Chaotic Crew magazine, and I'm also working on a 5th book in progress. Should be finished.
What? Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to get. I'm gonna. I was gonna go to Amazon, so I'm gonna have to hook you up so I can get a couple of your books now. Okay.
Oh yeah, you got to get the most popular so far is my 3rd book, Nameless. Nameless has done so well. It is I started it at the height of this whole pandemic corona business. And I started it with the thought process of, well, okay, there's this big bad bug out there. And if it takes me out, then I want my art to say what I want it to say and not what people or my audience thinks I should say as a writer or an author or what have you. So I wrote the book, and it's called Nameless because none of the poems have titles. So it's
What?
right on, yeah. None of the poems have titles. My most recent book, the 4th book, is Iron Cursive, and I wrote that based on my former place of residence when I was renting a room. It wasn't very fun. Had a lot of hard times dealing with that, but I got some art out of it. Anything that you go through in life can be channeled through your art. I think that anything creative goes hand in hand with having a disability. And I say this because our art or creation can go or reach places that our bodies cannot. So I've been really just thriving on leaving my footprint through my artwork, and hopefully it inspires others to take a look at our lives as well as having some gratitude for their own. So that's what I've been doing.
You heard that, my viewers. Spoken, spoken, spoken from a true spoken.
I mean, that's the skinny of it. I mean,
So when did you decide to be a book author of a poetry book?
well, I've been a I've been active in the arts community in Buffalo for 9 years, and I picked up freestyling spoken word while I was doing that. I got into spoken word watching the Def Jam poetry series. That's way back in old school. Watched it with my mom, watched all the spoken word. But writing was a long time thing, but I took it serious in high school. I started writing books because I started hearing whispers of, oh, he can't write, or oh, he doesn't write. After a while, it started to get a little annoying. So it was like, all right, that's it. I guess I got to show you, you know, that I got this. If I can freestyle and blow your mind, why would you not think that I have, if I can make up something off the top of my head, why would you not think that when I take the time to think about it, it wouldn't be amazing? So, my first book, Rocks Over Diamonds, um, published in 2019, and it sold 43 copies in like 2 months.
My.
And then
Okay.
yeah, and in that same year, I followed it up with The Courage to Scream, which had sold about maybe 10 copies or 15. That one didn't really fly too well, I guess because I had some issues, and I pulled it and back and forth with that. Follow that up with Nameless in 2020, which has sold over 100 copies and
Oh,
got, yeah, and I've gotten 21 ratings. 20 of those ratings for Nameless are 5-star on Amazon. Got some great reviews. And then most recently, Iron Cursive, which has sold many copies as well. And um, a fifth book is in progress. I can't tell you what the name of it is, but it's on the way.
okay. Since we're talking about rocks over diamonds, I'm just gonna ask this question now, so I don't have to worry about asking this question later.
hmm
So, why why the name rocks over diamonds?
Rocks Over Diamonds was interesting. It started out as a Facebook post about rocks and diamonds being a metaphor, and then it just clicked. I was living at the time I wrote Rocks Over Diamonds. I was not happy with my situation. I was living in a residence where it was literally falling apart around me. Like literally, the walls and ceilings were coming apart and falling in and things like that. And mentally and emotionally, it was a difficult time. I was not loving myself. I was not feeling good about life at all. And it was like people just wanted me to be okay. You gotta at least be grateful and be happy and blah 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 blah. And I guess part of the life of a person with disability is people think that you're supposed to be grateful and happy and smiling all the time. And I'm just not a person that can do that. I don't fake my emotions. If I'm not okay, I'm not okay, doggone it. So when you become the diamond, before you see the shiny diamond, what is it? It's a lump of coal. And we live in a world that seems to want to forget that. We want to get all shiny and brand new, but never forget where you came from. Before you were the shiny diamond, you wouldn't have been the diamond if you weren't a piece of coal first, or a rock, so to speak. You know what I mean? Everyone was telling me how I need to look, or how I need to dress, or if I need to groom my beard and shave my beard. And it got to be annoying because, like, can't you just be happy? I'm in front of you right so rocks over diamonds. You want the diamond but don't want to appreciate the rock. If you don't love me when I'm the rock, how can you love me when I'm the diamond? you know
I agree about that. 'Cause you know what they
yeah,
always say. In order to love your, in order to love yourself, you have to love others. So that's what I
yeah.
always say. So
Well, you have to love someone for who they are, and not
you got
we
that
as
right.
we have a bad, and everyone in society does it, myself included. love people based on who we see them becoming or who we think they should become and not who they are in front of us. And that again, the rocks over diamonds. I am not the pretty boy who's dressed all to the nines. Not that I don't dress up, but I'm not that way all the time. This is me, this right here, the guy who's chilling in sweats right now, zip up hoodie, and got a skull cap on in the winter, chilling. That's me. By the way, Prowler, that's whose hoodie I'm wearing right now. Favorite local place, 376 Grant Street. Go check them out. But yeah, that's where Rocks Over Diamonds came from. And it struck me when I was about to make that post. Rocks Over Diamonds, that's it. Yeah, I'm weird like that. Titles just hit me. Like I literally exclaimed out loud, that's it. And the more I said it, the more I loved it. So,
Yeah, I love the name. So I have to ask this question because I love the name.
oh
So
yeah, no, I
yes.
get it all the time. Yeah. Um,
But I do agree because every time I go out, I always say everyone is unique in their own word.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
yes. So I had to ask that question before I went down to later. So now I'm gonna ask this one. So who inspired you? I'll just put that. Who inspired you to write?
Um, Now, do you mean as far as people or like celebrities and entertainment or
I would just say in general.
in general? Okay. I guess I was inspired by partly from my family. I grew up with of course my brothers and my cousins, and when you have a physical uh handicap, they it's hard to find your niche. And I grew up with my brothers. If my mom wasn't home to get me off the bus, my brother was, and I would come in and he would be blasting, Jay-Z, Diplomats, and all kinds of rap music. So we would do, ciphers and freestyles and rapping and battling. And I mean, it was all in good fun, but it kind of honed me for that. And on top of that, my mom was having me do speaking engagements. On Sundays at her meetings and her spiritual meetings and things like that. So kind of groomed me for that kind of thing. As far as writing, I guess it was just me trying to figure out what set me apart. And it's hard to find your niche, but when I did, it was like uh, I can. I guess that's why I always liked English was my favorite subject because unlike math, which has a certain way it has to go and that's it, English kind of allows you that creative freedom. That is the rule, is to bend the rule. And so um, when you feel trapped in one way, in my case, physically, you feel bonded in this body, the arts create a perfect escape to it. So I just kept expounding on that. And let's just face it, being creative is fun. It's like when you experiment with food. You know what I mean? Let's try a little of this or a little of that. So,
I agree about that. I have to ask this question. It's not on the list, but I was going to ask it anyways. Have you
okay.
ever have you ever done about doing a poetry blog?
Actually, no, I have not. I have read a few poetry blogs. I have not gotten into a blog. I've looked into how to do it, and it just seemed like too much work, and I'm lazy.
Mm,
Fuck off. I am not about to sit here and type 4 or 5 paragraphs. That sounds like homework. And half the time, we live in a world if a celebrity is not tweeting about it or hashtagging it, nobody cares anyway. So, but well, it's true. I mean, I could say
yeah,
drink more. I say drink more water. Nobody listens. Jay Z gets up there and says, "Yo, y'all need to drink more H2O because Hope said so." People gonna be hashtagging that all day long. So,
you
um,
do, yeah.
that's just the world we live in. That's not shading anyone. That's just being honest. We don't learn anything unless a celebrity says it. I mean, and that's not to say all people are like that, but that's the mentality. That's the vibration that we follow. You know what I mean? Our parents have been telling us to drink water and eat our vegetables for years. Nobody listens. You get some famed person up there like LeBron James or any popular artist and they say, yo, drink your water and eat your veggies, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right. But didn't your mama and grandmama tell you that? What's the difference? So I just don't. It's funny. I don't even watch poetry videos that often. I don't study other poets. I don't look at other poets. I will if I want to, a little vitalization or if I want to feel good or just for fun. But I don't. Oh yeah, let me sit here for 13 hours straight and study this footage. I am not that committed. You know. What do you want to?
That's
I'm
all
honest
right.
about it. You asked the question, I'm giving you the truth.
That's all right. Okay, so but since I said inspired you, what about celebrities? Like, do any celebrities inspire you?
Celebrities, yeah.
Yes.
I think my style of poetry is inspired by a lot of musicians. Of course, music is a universal language. I want to say one of my influences of my style was the Isley Brothers, for one.
Ooh.
Very popular group, very popular R&B soul group, and I guess one of the reason they inspired me was because when you hear their songs, it's not something they made up. It's not, oh, does this sound cool or does this sound good like this? This is coming from a real place. When you listen to Ron Isley sing Footsteps in the Dark or Summer Breeze, Footsteps in the Dark is my favorite song, by the way, one of them. But that place of realness. So I was inspired to be just that raw emotion. So the Isley Brothers, Hall and Oates, Daryl Hall, John Oates, again, just real guys. Common and the rapper Eminem, of course, just because his wordplay is insane. But the reason I name those artists is because it's not about necessarily the wordplay, but the effect of being raw and open. And that's what, in my opinion, I go back to with my spoken word. It's cool to be dope with the words and say some cool stuff, but at the end of the day, I want to be relatable. I want to hit you hard, bang, 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 bang. At the end of the day, when you go home, you're still gonna be thinking about that. Like, yo, you really, or celebrities like even the late comedian Bernie Mac, just that raw openness in your face. Uh, and that's the kind of approach I take to my spoken word. So Bernie Mac and all the previous artists I named, just that raw delivery and directness is kind of what I try to apply to my style.
Yeah, I love Bernie Mac. I'm
Oh
thinking
man.
crack you up. I'm telling
Oh
you.
yeah, he was that voice and that delivery when he got on that stage at Def Jam, and he just Chris Tucker went out there, did his thing, and it was great. Bernie Mac, I ain't scared of you, blankety blanks. It was just like, oh snap. You know what I mean?
Oh,
He just kind of hit you like, well, all right then. Okay, got it. So just that raw delivery. Also, I want to mention Bruce Lee really quick because even though he is a martial artist, he was also very smart. Like to him, martial arts was not just a way of fighting or defending yourself. It was a way of life. It was a state of being. And so I try to apply that to my artistry as well. It's not just something you do, it's a way of life. So yeah, all those people that I named, they're kind of what influenced me as far as celebrities would go.
oh, okay. I love Bruce Lee. I love all the movies that he in. So,
Yeah.
oh, how does it feel? How does it feel to to be a self-published author?
Sometimes it's still sinking in. If you'd have asked me back in seventh grade or eighth grade or even ninth grade, if you'd have told me, hey, you're going to be a well established poet writing your own books, I would have said some of the meanest, cruelest things to you and told you to go away. It's true. I was a very temperamental young man, easily provoked. But now that it's actually happening, and I had this conversation with Izzy actually, and we talk about that. We never thought we would be where we are doing the things that we're doing. So to be here and doing that, and it's actually inspiring people. So many people have walked up to me and be like, yo, I heard you, you were so great, and you inspired me, and I saw you here and I saw you there, and so on and so forth. And I'm just looking like, okay, that's cool. Because it's like, it's such a gratifying feeling, because within yourself you think, well, who am I to inspire somebody? You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, and it's like, it comes at the most, for me, they come at moments when I need confirmation. As an artist, you get to the point where it's like, what am I doing this for? Maybe I suck, I guess this is all just a waste. But then you hear things like, oh, hey, my dad saw you and said you were great. Or, I looked at you and I'm inspired by your stuff. Keep doing it. It's that stuff that gives you that boost. Keep going, because being an artist is not, you hear a lot of people, the lingo today, oh, hustle and grind and all that stuff. Artistry is not a quick ride, it's a long walk. I have done so many performances for no payment, no money, and I have nothing wrong with making a profit from my art or my work. But if you're looking for the big bucks to come overnight, you, my friend, are walking along the wrong riverbank. You got that? It's a long, hard road. It is. It's tough.
And I actually agree with you because I know when you with me writing my books and stuff, and oh my God, when I look, all the kids like some of the kids come up to me and say, "You really inspire me." When they say that, I'm like, I just had to stop and just freeze, like, oh my God.
Yeah, and then you know what? You go home, and I know I do this all the time. And people tell me these things, and I'll come home or I'll wake up the next morning like, oh yeah, you start feeling like you're on top of the world.
Oh yeah.
Start posing at yourself in the mirror, like, yeah, that's right, I did that. I inspired that person. But you never know who you're inspiring. When you're sitting by yourself thinking you're not reaching anyone, you never know. You don't have a clue who's heard you. And so when they walk up and they tell you those things, it's like, man, it's really humbling, and it just makes you want to cry tears of joy, because it's like you put in so much work and so much passion. And some days I'll sell a lot of books. Some days I only sell one book. And some days I won't sell squat. But but that's what art's about, you
Yes, it
know.
is.
And loving art is like loving a person. And I say that to say this: when you love a person or when you love your art, you have to love it or them, whether there's something to get out of it or not. Like, do you still love your art even on those days where you're not selling anything? Do you still love it? Are you still passionate about it? Do you love your art even when you don't have people telling you that you've inspired them or coming up wanting your autograph or something? Do you still love it? That's when you figure out if you still love it. That's when your faith and your love and your commitment and your passion is tested. Same thing with loving a person. Anyone can love someone as long as there's something to get or gain, but when they have nothing to give, right? Like me, I don't have a whole lot of money. Lord knows I need my stuff on the first. Hello.
Yeah, make
I
sure you
can't
drink some water.
drink that water, drink
You
that
drink
water.
that water.
And
Mask
that,
up too.
and while you're looking for the water, everyone has, they used to tell me all the time, you can't have champagne dreams and a beer budget. It's cool to love somebody when they can buy you champagne, but can you have that same love when all they have to offer you is a bottle of water? You know what I mean? So art and the life of an artist is a very hard, trying road. So I say once more, if you're in it for the big overnight bucks, if you're in it for the thousands of followers, you are in for a long, long ride, my friend.
So you gotta start with the foundation. You have to go to the bottom and then to the top.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because when I started this, that's all anyone asked. Are you getting paid? Are you getting paid? Are you getting paid? Like, I had to put in a lot of work. I went to a lot of travel the circuit. I have poet buddies who remember when we used to, downtown Buffalo used to do the circuit, all the coffee shops, Allen Street, Main
Oh
Street
yeah.
downtown. Uh, I went to Presto, and then there was Second Cup across from the library, and just when we all huddled in those small youth events and things like that. Which, by the way, was a blast. We had a ball doing that. But that's the thing; it took getting around. You had to put the work in to get recognized. In today's world of instant media, you know. But when I was coming up, you had to do the work. Social media was around, but you still had to do the work. It wasn't like, okay, type a poem on Instagram and I'm there. It's we had to travel, we had to work, and I've done so many events for Goose Egg. So I mean, but because of all that work, I think that I'd like to think that that attributes to what my success is now. I haven't performed a public event since I did Juneteenth last year, but because of the effort that I've put in and the work I've put in, I've built these relationships and that reputation to where I have so much credibility and I have so much respect from others. People are gratified by money and what they can get their hands on, and it's cool for me too. But I've mostly been gratified by the fact that to know that I've worked so hard and I had the respect of people who weren't even in the same craft as I am, the respect of musicians and actors and comedians and rappers. So I guess it's just about being thankful for the little things because that's all you're going to get, when you start out or at all. I've been doing this for 9 years, and even so, like I said, some days I'll sell a lot of books. Last month I only sold one book. That's how it goes. You don't get to decide the rules. You sat at the table, you sat at the table to play the game. You don't decide how many cards you get, you don't decide what cards you get, and you don't get to pick and choose which rules you follow and which you don't. That's.
I agree. I agree about that. Because I know there's a lot of times when I don't get to sell a book, but it's all right. So I agree about that. At least I'm sitting there and looking the part,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they always look at me like, "You look good." I'm like, "Thank you."
Thank you. I remember I was leaving an open mic. I finished my set. I did my piece. Someone looked at me and said, "You are worthy of that name, legendary." I was like, "Well, thank you." Oh man, I just I don't you know what? Somebody asked me, and I posted this on my social media yesterday. I remember somebody asked me, "Are you afraid to perform on stage with your disability?" No. I will do this anytime, any place, anywhere. I busted out freestyles in the meat section at a store once, and the guy who was with me looked at me like I was nuts. And it is kind of a weird thing to do, but it's what I do. Well, it is weird. I mean, we in the meat section. We ain't even in the produce. Like I'm standing next to raw hamburger freestyling.
You probably freestyling about me.
Like, yeah, right. Oh my God. And he had every right to look at me the way he did. I am not at all saying that what I did wasn't weird because he did. He totally looked at me like, what in the HE double hockey sticks are you doing? And I didn't realize where I was until I looked around and I saw the freezer smoking and vaping and whatnot.
Uh-oh.
Well, because like when I hear a beat or an instrumental or something, I just start going, or like I'll start swaying and gesturing my hands like I'm performing, and I just started going. And he looked at me with the most serious look on his face, like, "You nutcase, what are you doing?" And when I snapped out of it and realized where I was standing, I was like, "Oh, crud." I freestyled next to the meat. So if I can freestyle next to raw hamburger and steak and pork and such, I'll do it anywhere. I've been to schools, Juneteenth, the mayor's office, you name it. I've done a freestyle in a laundromat to impress somebody. Okay. Yeah, you heard me. You heard that my dirty clothes over there on the rinse cycle, and I'm over here
Yeah.
freestyle.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't done a freestyle yet. You washing clothes.
Yeah, no, I did that in the laundromat. My friend, I became friends with one of the attendants, and people put me on the spot all the time. They're like, yo, kick one of them poems. People have caught me in the most awkward positions. I remember one year, years ago, I was walking to the corner store, and I kid you not, I was looking so ragamuffin, like it was ragamuffin times 10. I had an old pair of shoes, hospital scrub pants, and a hoodie of some useless thing on. But it's a quick run to the store. You don't care how you look. And then somebody walks up to me and was like, yo, spit some of them bars. I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you see how I look right now? Like, what are you doing? And what makes it so hilarious is I'm standing there with a bag. I have my grocery. I didn't even buy groceries. I had a box of cereal in plastic bags. Remember when plastic bags at the store were a thing? I literally had a box of something, and I don't care if he wants to hear a poem. I'm like, dude, I look like total trash right now. I look so bad. You remember when you used to dress up your dolls and they'd be all uncoordinated and unhealthy and just looking a hot mess? That's how I looked. Okay. And you want me to spit something. What is wrong with
Oh
you?
yeah.
I was at the shoe store once getting a pair of shoes, and the lady's got my foot in her hand, sizing me for her orthopedic shoes. And the guy's like, yo, go bust out one of her poems, do a poem for her about her name. What is wrong with you? This woman has my foot in her hand. Like, people put me on the spot all the time. Like, that is what we call a compromising position. Now that's definitely compromising. This woman is measuring my foot, like got my foot on the block and all that. And this dude is like, do a poem for her about her name. What? And I did the poem, but in my mind, I'm just going off like a bunch of sirens. What is wrong with you, you maniac? The woman's kind of busy right now, so it happens.
Mm.
And that's like, I have a whole bunch of those types of stories. It is so weird. I don't mind it, but please, at least like that, the whole, she had my foot in her hand measuring my foot, and you want me to do a poem like right now? Like,
But you know how people are when you're out and you're doing something, and then they want you to spit some stuff out. I'm like, come on, spit some stuff out.
and I don't mind that, but it just be the weirdest situations when people do it to me. Like I told you, I was at the store looking at a brand new hot mess. Okay, this was hot mess that hadn't even been heard of yet. Because who in the world goes to the store in hospital scrubs? Nobody does that. I did that. Okay. And I'm not glorifying that. That's just the hot mess stuff that I do on my downtime, and I'm single, so I don't gotta get cussed out when I get home. um, but yeah, no, that just it be the most awkward situations. Or like I'll go visit someone. I used to visit a friend's boutique that she had downtown. I would stop in to say hi, and she'd be like, "Oh, we got a poet right here. Put some poetry." Huh? Like right now? I didn't do anything. Just so. But that's what happens when you've done such kinds of work, and I guess I've had that impact on people that they just want to hear something. Sometimes I'll do that just to wow people, or if I see a guy that's all decked out in his clothes and jewelry and cologne and stuff, I'll just do a freestyle just so you know that you ain't the only special one around here. I may look like a ragamuffin, but I got other tricks. So how about that? So it depends on the day.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, do not freestyle in the meat section. That is totally not smart. At least do it by the veggies. Get some nutrition. Do not do what I do. I don't know what I was doing that for. By the time I snapped out of it and realized where I was like,
oh boy. You that go to the freezer section.
I did. It was like, and it wasn't like the freezer, like where you see the thing sitting in the plastic. No, it was like the raw meat, like the freezer where they go stored.
Oh boy.
I was like, by the time I stopped, I'm like, yo, I'm standing here freezing, looking at T-bones and hamburger and ground chuck and all kinds of stuff.
Mm.
And not even the ready prepared stuff. I'm talking about the raw wriggly stuff that look like brains. Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, I was freestyling next to somebody's cow. so if you're going to freestyle at the supermarket, don't do it near the meat. Do it at least near the produce so people think you eat healthy. because I look like a total lunatic. I couldn't control myself where I was. I couldn't help it. I didn't want to be in the meat section. It wasn't like I pointed it out and was like, yeah, let's go over there. We just happened to be walking through the aisle, and while I was waiting for him to do whatever he was doing, we were in the meat. And so, yeah, just know that raw meat does not make good freestyling companions or atmosphere.
You heard that.
Oh yeah,
What what's the title of your second book? 'Cause I know you got four of them. So
yeah. The title of my second book is the Courage to Scream.
courage.
Yeah.
Ooh, now that's deep.
I don't know. I think I wrote that book prematurely because that title stands out more now based on my experiences with people than it did then. But a lot of the poems center around my disability. I have a friend who's also a spoken word artist, and he and I were talking about it, and he said that I should definitely talk about it more. You know this as a person with a disability yourself. We live in such an ableist world, and again, like I said before, everybody wants you to shut up and be all smiles and happy all the time. And I'm not that kind of person. I don't know about you, but I'm the kind of person I'm going to tell you when stuff is good, but I'm
Mm.
also going to tell you this condition freaking sucks. I don't like having it. I tell you the good and the bad. I'm not, everything's not all bad, but I'm not the kind of guy that acts like everything's all great and wonderful and tra la la. No,
Yeah, I
I'm
agree
going to,
about you. It's not roses.
well, yeah,
I
man.
agree about that.
Sometimes my life is a rose and sometimes it's a cactus.
Yeah,
And,
or a thorn.
huh?
I said, or a thorn. You know, they had the
Yeah,
thorns and the roses. That's what I said, or a thorn.
yeah, thorns. I mean, and roses are beautiful flowers, but they can poke you too, and that's the thing. Life stings, and we try our best to keep a smile on my face. It's not that everything is all bad, but people just want you to shut up and just be grateful that you're alive or some such nonsense. But I realize that the reason that they do that, and this is from talking with friends and family, um, my mom told me years ago, and I see it now that I'm older. She looked at me a long time ago and she said, "Baby, I don't mean to sound mean, but it's the truth. If it doesn't affect them personally, they don't care."
I
And
agree about
that's the truth.
And since you mentioned, since we're touching base on disability and stuff like that, after the last question, I am requesting you to do a freestyle on just disabilities.
Okay.
Because since we're talking about disabilities and stuff like that, I thought the freestyle would kind of be nice to kind of put that out there, and it would be nice to have it in some form, have disability as a term.
Now, before I do this, I want everybody to know that when I do what I'm about to do, I am completely making this up off the top of my head. You
Now,
cannot
before
find.
before you get into it, though, I'm gonna ask this one question, and that's it.
Oh, go ahead.
And,
Oh,
then- and,
yeah.
then, and then it's totally on you. Uh, where can we buy your books?
Oh, duh. Of course, I got to tell you guys that. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm talking about my books. You got to know where to get them.
You got that right.
Okay. Well, you can't get them in the meat section. Let me tell you that.
I don't think so. If you can freestyle in the meat section all you want, but I don't think you can buy your books
I
now in the meat
just want to
section.
make that clear. Freestyling in the meat section was a weird thing that I did. It's funny, but you will not find my books there because who wants to? I don't think anybody wants to. People don't even want to touch raw meat, let alone read next to it. So, with that said,
Okay.
um, I know that 3 of my books can be found on Amazon. My most recent books, Iron Cursive, which is my fourth book, Nameless, which is my third book, and I believe Rock Silver Diamonds, which is my first book, are all on Amazon. Um, uh, I believe Nameless and Iron Cursive, books 3 and 4. If you go to Amazon and you type in poetry books by Tyrone Houston, you'll find them.
Okay.
Yeah, my friend helped me publish them. She did the whole computer putting the book together, and we thought that putting it under my actual name would be better for those that didn't know me by Legendary the Poet, which actually made a lot of sense.
Oh, well,
So
that's a good thing to know. Cause I've been looking you
yeah,
up and everything. I can find
no,
you. I'm
a
like,
lot of
where
people
is
did.
he?
And we thought about that, and she was like, for people that don't know you by that name, and it was like, good point. So go to Amazon, and if you type in books by, if you type in poetry books by Tyrone Houston, you'll see Nameless, and then you'll see Iron Cursive, and those are my books.
Oh,
They're $15 a piece, and I know y'all got tax money coming, so don't tell me that's too much. Um, we ain't about to sit here and play about it. I know
you
y'all
got
got
that
money.
way. I agree about that. Yes.
Y'all big balling, y'all big spending, y'all got it. But no, buy the books, and if you like them, there's also a section where you can leave a review. I would totally appreciate the feedback. Oh, and by the way, Tyrone Houston is how you can find me on Facebook, my social media, if you read my books and you like them, or if you see this broadcast, because Angelique is running the joint. Um,
Yeah, I would definitely be posting this video once it gets completely, and it will be on Facebook. So
Facebook, the book
make
of
sure
Facebook.
you check it out.
Yeah, so when you open your book and you see your face, my interview will be there. Yeah. But yeah, those are where you can check out my books. The Courage to Scream, I have to refine that one because that one, people have clicked on links and not been able to find it, so I have to see what's up.
Uh-oh. I would definitely check that one out because I love that. Oh my God, that one kind of spoke to me when you said
Oh
the
yeah,
courage to scream. So
oh yeah, and the cover of The Courage to Scream is actually a tiger with its mouth open. So it's like, yeah,
I think I saw that. Cause I think I saw. I think I seen a post like that. Yeah.
yeah, that was my. I think I may have to do a second part to that book, a volume two, and the same thing goes for Nameless because Nameless was so popular. So
Well,
those are my books.
we are all covered because we didn't have to ask the last question because you already got around by saying that about you being on social media already. So now you can go into doing your freestyle. It's on you now.
Okay, all right.
Go
Well,
ahead, legendary.
let me get my handy dandy water. You know, you gotta wet the whistle a little bit. Now, before I do this, I want to tell you guys, freestyle. When I was growing up, I hear a lot of people say I wrote a freestyle. I don't subscribe to that. When I was coming up, a freestyle means completely off the top of the head. You're just making it up on the spot. So before I do this, I want you to know, no, I can't say it again because people do that all the time. Yo, say it again. I can't.
Uh-oh.
A freestyle. I would love to, but I can't. And number two, I am totally making this up. You cannot hear this anywhere else except for right now or when you watch this. You know, while you eating your popcorn or chicken wings or bonbons or whatever it is you guys eat during the winter. All right. And she wants me to freestyle about disabilities because you heard her say it earlier. So there.
Oh yeah, you know it. We are unique, so yes.
Oh yeah. All right. So let me see if I still got this. All right, here we go. I hope your ableism hates you in the morning. I hope you are able to understand that you are unable to label us abled of any kind. Disabled, be able to discuss my abilities among those who are able to not care, those who are able to indulge themselves in vices that I cannot because the vice versa would mean that the roles were reversed. I wish I could stand as straight as you, but I hope you know that I can't stand your ableism. I can't stand your standard. But your standard doesn't set the standard for me because I met people who used to have to stand up with the use of a standard, a device to help them stand, and I can't stand it. I can't stand the altitude of the attitudes that you get when I ask you to have a little assistance or a little empathy or a little apathy, and don't at me with your at signs. I'm telling you the truth that I want you to see, but you don't see it because you don't have to struggle to stand. Caesar said that it's better to live on my knees or die on my feet. I know I got that sentence backwards, but that's the point. I live a life that sentences me to these muscle spasms, and I feel like I don't have control. So I pick up the remote control and I binge watch all of your flicks that you caught in one net, or I try to wear a hula skirt while you seize your Hulu, and while you're looking at your celebrities and your famed people and telling people about your image issues. I have an issue with the image that you find beautiful, the image of this muscular Adonis that is able to be able. See what happens when I stutter and I can't get control of my thoughts? The cognitive becomes crumbled because the cookie crumbled, and I thought that I was lost. So I thought maybe I'd leave a few crumbs. I'd lose control of my rambling, but if I do, then the broadcast is over. I have nothing to get out of this, not a penny, not a nickel, not a dime. And I try to give my 2 cents, but even that you try to take from me. But even with my crumpled back, I still have the spine to tell you that I am able to do what you are unable to do. I spend my life envious of you because I wish I could run away, but I can't. I'll fall. I know more about falling than the London Bridge. I know more about falling than the season of fall itself. Come sit with me and spell, and I hope that I can describe to you the true definition of wealth. You see, my condition is also a great teacher. It teaches me to be humble, and it teaches me to know that I'm blessed, but it also teaches me that I cannot run away. You're lucky. Your ableism, I hope it curses you in the morning because you're able to run away. You're able to not look. You're able to not care. You're able to be distracted. But me, I am searching on these bended knees to find the happily ever after, while their tainted looks are always digging into me, while I listen to the remarks of people that think I'm drunk because I have a gait in my walk. But meanwhile, I still have enough strength to open my gate so I can walk to the back door, so I can come inside my safe haven. But if I stay inside my safe haven, that means never opening up to you, the world. So I speak these words, and I speak in this pace, and I speak all of these different things for those who can't plead their own case. But meanwhile, you look into an imaginary briefcase, clapping for the lawyer that is fictional, solving cases. Meanwhile, I'm trying to solve the case of idolized ignorance, italicized in society. Society says I'm lazy because I collect myself, and even though I'm trying to collect myself, it takes a lifetime to get up after a fall, but a split second for the fall to happen. Meanwhile, a year and 6 months is nothing compared to the prison sentence that writes the caption of this poem. I am no criminal, but it is a criminal act to live in a society where people don't see how able they are. I am able to see your abilities, and your abilities don't assist me. And that's the problem that we're having if we look over the seven thieves. I counted only six of them because seven's a lucky number, and there is nothing lucky about being me. Trapped inside this ableist society where people are able to have these vices. And my mom always taught me, don't get your caught hand in the vice. Don't get your hand caught in the vice. Keep your hands away. You see, I keep losing control and losing my train of thought because I always walk. I walk on these stressful knees. I walk on these stressful ankles. And even though I don't have any shackles, let me tell you, I've had my dreams tainted. I've been told I'm unintelligent. I've been told I'll never make it. I've been told so many things that are incriminating and stereotypical when all I wanted to do was type in my favorite song to play in my stereo. But now I get all the gruesome stares from people who are, I have to stop now because my ability to assess your ableism is starting to get to me, and I can't let that happen. My knees only have so much strength, and tolerance is one of my greatest weapons, and I'm starting to wear out. I wanted to do a spoken word freestyle, but I'm afraid my patience is worn out. I am not able to do this. Do not open this book until you are told to do so. But should you open it, I hope you are able to do so with confidence in your heart. This spoken word piece was sloppy, but then again, that's the point. Because I am tired of society's sloppy viewpoint, your slanted views, your crooked looks, while you get to doll yourself up and looking like Adonis or Aphrodite. I wish I could attract the attractiveness that you are able to attract with your abilities. But me, I'm stuck with a powerful mind and a beating heart and a strong will. And in an age and an era where nobody has to care because they don't have to be concurrent with trying to rise from cerebral, uh, I don't know what to call it, because I'm just not able to continue. I just want you to be grateful and know what you really have to look forward to.
That was deep. Thank you.
That was a little rusty honesty. I know that was terrible. That was a little, I ain't did this in a while, but
That's all right, but that, like I said, was deep.
But that's what freestyle is. But yeah, no, that's what we live in. We live in a world where people just. I had an issue with a delivery man the other day, bringing groceries to the house, and I live upstairs, and I can't do a bunch of heavy lifting. I mean, look at this. Do I look like The Rock to you? No, I need help.
No,
So it was like, I mean, shout out to Dwayne Johnson, but I'm not Dwayne Johnson. You don't see me
no,
lifting my
no, you're
stuff.
not.
No, not at all. I wish I was because I'd have all the girls. Hello, but I don't. Uh, I would have 14 championship belts, but I do not. The gentleman got really upset with me simply because I asked him for his assistance carrying the things upstairs. Like what I said in the freestyle, that's really what I deal with. People's just looks and their disgusting attitudes. It's like you lucky son of a something. You just don't know how good you have it. You know, I wish I could just turn away from this. Can't. Stuck with it.
I agree about that. I'm your host, Angelique, and this has been another episode of the Angelique Everett Show. Now I want to thank my special guest. Thank you, legendary.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
You're you're very welcome. You know I had to have you.
Yeah, who knows? You guys, she may even bring me back for a reunion on our 100th episode. We don't know.
Yeah, I made sure I do that. I would definitely make sure when I reach
Yeah,
100, I definitely make sure that you be my
episode
100.
100.
Okay.
I would love to be there for that. That'd be cool.
Okay. Now, don't forget to use the Angelique Everett Show to like me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram at the underscore Angelique E underscore show. And now subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Angelique E Show, or go to my website, angeliqueshow.com.